Everybody. Today we are going to get started with setting up to write. And this is all about the importance of learning from other writers. So these are the steps that we're going to follow today. We are going to study someone's finished work, actually just a little bit of it, in order to learn from other writers. So the first step is to read it all the way through the first time to just appreciate and understand the content of their writing. And then think about what worked well for you as a reader. What did you like about it? What was effective? Then, number three, you're going to go back and try to figure out how they pulled it off. What techniques or strategies did the writers use in their writing to make it more interesting? And then eventually, we're going to try some of those strategies in our own writing. So, I'm going to model some of this for you. So I have an excerpt from a student named I. She was a sixth grade student. She did not go to our school, but it's still pretty powerful writing that we can learn from. And then we're going to think about what worked for us. So let's read it together. I shivered a little bit. It's pretty cold, I said as I dipped my toes in the water. I took a pebble and threw it far into the creek. Well, whatever, I said as I plunged into the cold water. It felt amazing. The cold water covered my eyes like gentle blankets, and the water washed over me like a breeze. Swimming is my favorite. Wait up, yelled Emma as she ran down the hill with her floaty wrapped around her waist. Her curly brown hair whipped around in the breeze. I shivered. I was cold already. A moment after that, Linda's mom waded in, laughing. Ha! It's cold, she said. Then she stopped. Girls, out! Out of the water! She pushed us back to shore. I looked back and saw a long, thin water snake slithering toward us. I gasped. I quickly swam underwater in big, wide strokes. I never saw any water snakes around Asokas Creek, I thought. Ah, to be continued. All right, so if I think what worked well for me, if I think about that piece of writing, it's only one page in her notebook. And this isn't, the story of what I did for my summer vacation. It doesn't take place over a long period of time. It's just a small moment of her writing. So I'm going to show you what we're going to do next. So we're going to go back and try to figure out how she pulled it off. What techniques or strategies did she use in her writing to make it more interesting? So I just have a little bit here, and I highlighted the first couple of sentences because they really worked for me. I shivered a little bit. It's pretty cold, I said as I dipped my toes in the water. I took a pebble and threw it far into the creek. So this worked for me because I can picture it. And then I think, okay, so what exactly did she do that helped me picture it? Well, she started with this little tiny action. I shivered a little bit. And then she added the exact words she said. It's pretty cold. And then she showed the place where she was. As I dipped my toes in the water, I took a pebble and threw it far into the creek. So she got right into that tiny little moment and helped us picture it. And the techniques she used were she started with that tiny action, her action of shivering. She put in some exact words and she showed the place. So what you're going to do is you're going to continue reading and marking up the excerpt from I's story. Now, if you are learning from home, you might not be able to print it, but you can read it and just take some notes in your notebook, some of the things that you noticed. If you can print it, then you can mark it up. Then I want you to think, what worked for you? Highlight or underline parts that grab your attention, and then think about what exactly I has done that you think works. What specific strategies has I used that works in this story? And I want you to remember that even though this is a writing class, we learn from other writers. So we are studying I's writing to learn what we can do to make powerful personal narratives.